Friends, what happened when a man's pet tiger ate him alive? And how did a pet wolf hungry end up swallowing its own owner? What happened when a woman was attacked by her own hunting dogs? And how did a pet monkey ruin a woman's life? Well, in today's video, I am going to tell you about the world's most unlucky people who were killed by their own pets. Let's start the countdown. AJ Merrick? Friends, the person you are seeing is named Merrick, and he lived in the United States. Merrick loved keeping tigers as pets, and he had a Bengal tiger at home that he was very fond of. He even built a special room for it in his house and kept all its things there. One day, some of Merrick's friends came over to see the tiger, so he took them to the tiger's room. As soon as the tiger saw the friends, it attacked them. Merrick tried to control the tiger to protect his friends, but the tiger went out of control and attacked Merrick instead. The tiger first injured Merrick with its claws, then sat on him and began biting his neck. Merrick's condition became so critical that he couldn't even assess his wounds, and before the police could arrive to save him, he died on the spot. Well, if someone keeps wild beasts as pets in their house, the result is bound to be disastrous. Bobby Hodge. Friends, in 2004, there was a man named Bobby Hodge living in Texas. Bobby was fond of wolves, and he kept 4 wolves at home. Although wolves are very dangerous animals, Bobby believed that if a wild and dangerous animal is given love and attention, even if it's a wolf, it would not be dangerous. But what he didn't know was that these wolves would update his software. One day, when Bobby's wife returned home from work, she found Bobby lying in his room covered in blood, and his pet wolves, which he considered his friends, were eating him alive. In reality, these wolves had been hungry for a long time, and when they saw that Bobby wasn't giving them anything to eat, they became enraged and attacked their owner. To satisfy their hunger, they started eating Bobby. Unfortunately, these wolves tore apart their own owner and killed him. No one could save Ruth Hash. Friends, Ruth Hash was a woman from Pennsylvania who had 5 bulldogs at her home. These dogs were so dangerous that just looking at them would scare anyone, and this crazy woman had not 1 but 5 of them. These dogs were so aggressive that whenever Ruth took them for a walk, they would start attacking anyone passing by. But what these dogs did to Ruth will shock you. One day, a friend of Ruth's came to visit her at home. After knocking on the door for a while and receiving no response, the friend thought something was wrong. She immediately called the police. When the police arrived at Ruth's house and broke the door open, they found Ruth's body lying on the floor, drenched in blood, with all 5 of her pet bulldogs tearing her apart and eating her. The scene was so horrifying that it would make anyone's mind reel. What exactly happened between Ruth and her pets that caused the dogs to tear her apart remains unknown, but this story is truly like a nightmare. Pavers. Friends, this story is from 2006. Sandra was a woman living in Pennsylvania, and she had pet wolves at her home. She loved them very much and took care of them. She had even built a cage for them in her yard. One afternoon, Sandra's neighbors heard her screams, so they came up to the roof to see what was happening. When they looked, they saw Sandra lying in the wolf cage, severely injured. Her whole body was covered in blood, and her pet wolves were tearing her apart and eating her. She was screaming for help, calling out for someone to save her and prevent her from dying. When the neighbors saw her condition, they immediately called the police. But by the time the police arrived to save Sandra, she had already passed away. And not only that, the wolves had eaten her so much that her body was in a terrible state. In fact, Sandra had not fed her wolves for a while, and they were extremely hungry. When Sandra went into their cage, they attacked her and tore her apart. In any case, anyone thinking of keeping wolves as pets should be very cautious. Carla Nesh. Friends, in 2010, 2 friends lived in Stanford. Their names were Carla and Emma. Emma had a pet chimpanzee at her home named Travis. One day, Emma was at home with her pet chimpanzee Travis when Carla came to visit. Carla often visited Emma and would meet Travis, and he knew her. But on this day, something changed in Travis. As soon as Carla entered their house, Travis suddenly ran toward her, furious, and immediately attacked her. Carla, thinking that Travis was coming to greet her, was shocked when he attacked. His claws slashed all over her body and face, causing her to bleed. As soon as Emma saw that Travis had attacked Carla, she immediately called the police. She watched helplessly as her friend was injured, but she couldn't do anything. Well, the police arrived and saved Carla's life, but this chimpanzee was so dangerous that it didn't stop there. It attacked the police officers as well, even climbing onto their car. Carla's life was saved, but her face was so disfigured that she had to undergo plastic surgery, and she also lost one of her hands. Anyway, what more can you expect from a monkey? Terry Garner. Friends, Terry Garner was a farmer living in Reagan, and he was 70 years old. Many of you may know that farmers in America often keep pigs as pets. Besides cows and buffaloes, Terry also had pigs. One day he went to his farm and did not return all day. When his wife and children noticed that it was getting late and Terry still hadn't come home, they went to the farm. When they arrived at the farm, they found Terry's body in the pigs area. The sight was so shocking that it made them scream. When they tried to remove Terry's body, the pigs attacked them as well. However, they managed to get Terry's body out, and when doctors performed his post-mortem, they discovered that Terry had actually suffered a heart attack and had collapsed in the pigs area. While he was still alive, the pigs gathered around him and started eating him. The scene was truly terrifying. Pam Weaver. Friends, Pam Weaver was a woman who lived in Australia and had a pet camel. She often rode her pet camel. One day, Pam went to the farm to ride her camel. As soon as she mounted it, the camel suddenly became angry and, instead of giving her a ride, threw her directly to the ground. Before she could get up, the camel grabbed her neck with its mouth and started slamming her to the ground. Pam was so badly injured by the camel's blows that she had no strength left to get up, but the camel's anger didn't subside. Still enraged, the camel came back to the injured Pam, climbed on top of her, and sat on her. Pam couldn't bear the weight and she died right there. By the time her parents reached the farm, they found that Pam had passed away, and the camel was sitting on top of her. Thank you for watching this Wonder Hitch video. Your support and kind comments mean the world to us. Stay tuned for another fascinating story in the next video.